Hey guys, just a quick talking point that came up over the last week, which I thought might be worth a short, quick video. Um, Ruan Nortje, anybody who's been watching the Bulls over the last while will have seen that he's moved to flank. Now, Ruan is obviously a Bulls captain. He's one of the most influential players in the team and a leader in the team as well, and has come on leaps and bounds in the last year. I think he made his first start. He played last year against Australia and then carried on through, played both tests against the All Blacks as well. And certainly, I think he's got 6 tests now under his belt, and certainly was one of the most improved players in the Boks team over the last year. For the Bulls, he's a workhorse. He's a tireless player. He gives his all. He never lets the team down, and it raised a bit of eyebrows when he moved to flank as well, just because he's a bit of a string bean. You don't really think of him as a guy with much bulk on him. And you look at some of the other guys there, but it's been quite an interesting one because he's very athletic, obviously. And to move him to flank has given the Bulls an extra option. Obviously, it gives them an extra line-out option as well. And it could quite be an interesting one for the Springboks as well. Iran's been, you see him more in the tram lines now, trying to play a bit of a Peter Steph the toy role like with the Springboks. And as we know, the Springboks enjoy versatility. So with the fact that Ben Jason Dixon is injured at the moment, there's maybe an opening out there in that Boks squad. Of course, there are other contenders. Jean-Luc Dupré is in the Boks alignment camp. He's one of the guys who probably is a bit ahead of Ruan maybe in that role. Vincent Chituka was another one that's been called in as well. He's now got his South African passport and is also an option for Jake there. Plus, he's still got Franco Mostert who can probably play there as well, and there's a couple of other players as well. And, Rassi can also change the manner of his loose trio there anyway. It doesn't have to be the traditional 7 as well. But obviously at the moment, Peter Steph fulfills a role not only around the field in the defensive system, but also on the tram lines as well for the Springboks. So Ruan's been doing that a lot more, and it's quite an interesting transformation for him. It's obviously, we'll have to see how it goes further, because the Bulls do have several options at loose forward as well, and they've been juggling them around quite a bit in the last couple of games as well. It's worked quite well for them. So it gives a very different balance to that loose trio of theirs as well. So it'll be interesting to watch. But just here's another option. Watch the space. He could be an option for the Boks. But let's hear Jake explain it as well.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think don't underestimate what Jeff's done in the short space of time as well as a 5 lock. So combination of Jeff and Kobus has worked well. I always said to you, beginning of the year, I think a guy like Ruan can play 7, and especially in a country like this where we have so many locks. If you look at the locks, got Ergia and Eben and Luet and all those locks. If one World Cups, Franco Mostert. I think the nice thing about having Ruan who can play more than one position is gonna help him. And he's got all the makings of being a good loose forward as well, because he's got incredible work rate. He offers you another option in the line-out. It's funny, and I see him now, he's running on the touchline doing one-on-ones with wingers. I said to him, geez, won't be long before he's doing trip kicks. And that again sums up exactly what I think about him, is that he would go now and do the extra yards. If he's going to be a loose forward that stays on the wing, then he would want to improve those skills that he needs on the edge of the field as well. So, again, no surprise that the last couple of weeks since I've moved him to 7, that's what he's been spending his time on. And I'm sure, I moved Peter Steph to flank when he was a youngster, and look what happened. He's not only once, twice player of the year in the world. So it is something that I think that Ruan will adapt, and especially in the pack we've got. There's enough players in the pack to do the things that he could do in the middle of the field while we release him to stand on the edge.
Certainly interesting times, and we all know Jake's also been one of those guys who sorted Wandisile Simelane with lesser Didn't really have the same effect. He wanted Similani to play wing. That didn't really work, and Wandisile went down to the Cape. And now he's probably going to leave the Stormers because there's no real place for him on the wing there as well, and there's no real place in the midfield for him as well with so many options that John Dobson has. He's had a great season though, and really filled a gap for the Stormers as well. But on Ruan's case, just that little bit of versatility is not a bad thing, and can only help him in the long run and increase his value. So we'll have to see how he does with the rest of the time for the Bulls in the playoffs. But hopefully, it goes on, and hopefully he is successful. And having another option going into 2027 in a title defence is not a bad thing. You'd want Ruan to get more caps as well. He's played against the Wallabies and the All Blacks. He certainly can play test level, and I'd like to see him succeed there as well. So watch the space and let me know what you think. Do you think he can make it at 7? Does he have all the attributes? And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Chat to you soon. Cheers.